The Secret of the Golden Bride. The bride was bowing and smiling at her esteemed guests. No one would guess the fear brewing within her. All her careful planning, years in the making, may be on the edge of catastrophe. But she knew their hearts, a tangle of envy and ill intent. In this cruel world, one misstep could bring her empire crashing down. She glanced at her new husband, a silent prayer in her heart that she had chosen wisely. If she were wrong, her carefully constructed life would crumble. She was the talk of the town, the wealthiest woman in the city, known for her extraordinary journey. Her success was a meticulously crafted facade, a shield against prying eyes. From humble beginnings, a lonely orphan after her father's passing, she had risen to prominence. She started a small business in a city that shunned women in commerce, where the market was brutal and unforgiving, primarily catering to men. Yet she not only succeeded but took risks that even seasoned traders wouldn't dare. And those risks paid off handsomely. Her wealth and unmarried status drew widespread attention. As she aged, countless marriage proposals poured in, even from handsome and affluent young men. But her fortune granted her a unique power. She could refuse, and people understood. Protecting her wealth was paramount. Then one day, the town held its breath. The famously independent woman did the unthinkable. She proposed to a young man who worked for her, an orphan with no family or fortune. He was known only for his good manners and sharp mind. Many believed she was aging and sought a husband she could control. It simply made sense. Eyebrows were raised at the wedding, though no one dared voice their thoughts aloud. It was a beautiful night in their remote desert town. After the ceremony, she walked with her husband to her mansion. It was built in a modest neighborhood, a stark contrast to the palace she could have afforded elsewhere. Many saw it as a humble nod to her roots, but they didn't know the truth. She was about to reveal that truth to her newlywed husband, and a wave of panic washed over her as they stepped inside. The guards bowed, ushering them in. Once the door closed, her heart pounded. She looked at her husband and said, "I'm going to show you something I've never shown anyone before. I hope you'll keep it a secret until your grave. Otherwise, only anguish and misery will follow us." Her husband smiled. "Whatever my queen asks of me." She led him to an inner room, her gaze fixed on a carpet in the center. After a moment, she thought, better now than later. Taking a deep breath, she pulled back the rug to reveal a small wooden door. Lifting it, she lit a candle and began to descend a ladder, asking him to follow. They entered a dark tunnel. After a few feet, the rough, rocky walls began to shimmer. They emerged into an opening, and the most breathtaking sight greeted her husband. A magnificent cave with golden rocks embedded in the walls. Upon closer inspection, he realized it was pure gold, an astonishing amount, enough to live like an emperor for a lifetime. As he examined the cave, she stood trembling, waiting for his reaction. He walked over to her and sat on the floor, looking around. To her surprise, he wasn't visibly moved. He continued to gaze at the gold before finally asking, "So, this is what you asked the universe for? Wealth?" His question deeply shocked her. This wasn't the response she'd envisioned. She expected greed, elation, perhaps even him running into the street to proclaim her secret. Such wealth, she knew, would unleash the worst in people, and the world would demand its share. Yet her husband sat there, seemingly unfazed. This was precisely why she had chosen him. He was different. He was trustworthy, a rare quality among the men she'd dealt with in business. Trust was something gold couldn't buy. His eyes were different, too. They didn't linger on her jewelry or her figure. They looked straight into her soul. When she first met him, she felt exposed. He saw the part of her she'd always hidden, the part no one cared to look for, her fierce desire to control her destiny. But with time, she realized he wasn't threatened by it. He accepted it as naturally as the sunrise. What truly captivated her was how, in his presence, she felt no threat. And when she finally felt comfortable sharing her immense wealth, he gave her a look of compassion, the kind you'd give to someone burdened, not the wealthiest woman in town. Despite his poverty and orphanhood, he lived each day to the fullest, as if it were his last. He was the man she needed, a man who saw her for who she was, a man she could truly trust. That's why she had asked for his hand. She snapped out of her warm reverie, his question echoing in her mind, now terrifying her. "How did you know?" He smiled, looking at the gold around them. "If I didn't know better, I would have asked the same. Wealth can bring anyone what they lack: security, respect, and independence." Then, He gave her the look that both terrified and enchanted her. His smile softened into a compassionate gaze, one reserved for a tormented soul. Was it a burden? He asked. Having all of this, yet terrified that one day someone would find out. You could buy the whole country with this gold, yet you couldn't reveal any of it for fear of people's reaction. You had to smuggle out small amounts and weave stories around it. You opened a shop to prove that wealth came from hard work. You didn't have to work a single day, yet you had to rise every morning to justify every dirham you owned. How does he know? She wondered. She turned. How does he know the most well-kept secret of my life? He read her like an open book. He took her hand. One day you looked inside and found the truth about this life, and you spoke to the universe, didn't you? Her hand trembled in his. He was narrating her deepest secret without even knowing. It made her shiver. He looked at the gold again. Then you asked the universe for wealth beyond imagination, and here it is. A blessing and a curse. Did you get a warning? She looked into his eyes, for the first time in her life, without fear. For the first time she could be sincere. It told me to beware of what I wish for, she whispered. A monumental weight lifted from her shoulders. A secret she had carried since the night her father died and left her alone to face the world. Now she felt vulnerable. He knew so much about her, and she thought she knew nothing about him. Instinctively she asked, "How do you know all of this?" He smiled, looking at the gold. "I asked the universe for wisdom." She was stunned. Beside her sat an enlightened man, just like her. A man holding a terrible secret that, if revealed, could drive him to madness. But wisdom also came with a warning, he continued. It would be a lonely and hard road. With knowledge you will see people's true colors, and it will bring you nothing but misery. But one day, if you persist, your other half will find you. He looked at her, taking her other hand. And then you came to me, and you are worth more than all this gold to me. Your secret is safe with me, as long as mine is safe with you. After all, we are two crazy people who are meant for each other. Then he kissed her. What do you think? Please share it in the comment section below. Subscribe for more. Yours, the counselor, SFTG.